Who am I? I'm Jeff Thielander, and I am a husband and a father. My wife Beth and I have been married for over 23 years, and we have 3 children, Ben, who is 20, Joey, who is 18, and Kate, who is 13. I am a school superintendent by trade. I've been with Maple Valley Anthenoto Community School for the last 3 years, and in the course of my educational career, I have taught history and English. I've been a middle school and high school principal, an athletic director, and a superintendent for a number of years. My most recent time as a superintendent has been with Maple Valley Anthenoto for these past 3 years, and I love my job very much. So my problem and my pain really came about in the fall of 2015. And as I've thought about this question and reflected upon what brought me, first of all, to Dr. Sanchez's office, it was really a problem with 2 issues. One, I was really having difficulty sleeping, and so that was really impacting my health. And number 2, I was having a real difficult time with keeping track of things, dealing with anxiety. I had really unintentionally, but very mistakenly, extended myself quite a bit at work. I was trying to lead too many things, trying to do too much, and when I tried to pull back from some of those things, it created even more problems. And so by the time I got to Dr. Sanchez's office, I was really in an emotionally bad place. I wasn't sleeping, I was anxious, I was just concerned with a lot of things that were going on around me, and I knew that it was having an impact on my health. To the point where I had come in just recently after 2 heart procedures that I had at the Mayo Clinic. And so I knew from that pain, from physical pain, from emotional pain, that it was time to seek some help and to try to figure out what was going on. How did it unstick me? First of all, when I think of the renewal process, I can remember several times in talking with Dr. Sanchez, just getting to the root or the core of what I truly feared. And to get there, I really had to calm myself, to get myself at a place where I could clear my mind. And I just think of the verse that was our foundation, that you renew your mind so that you can test and approve God's perfect and pleasing will. And I just found that so powerful to think that there would be a time in my life where if I could get things straight in the renewal of my mind and fix some of the issues that I was going through, that was going to open up the opportunity to, literally be in God's will, to be able to understand that when I responded to something, when I would do so in a way that was, fixing my eyes on things that are good and noble and true and pure, by doing that, it actually helped me walk through, many difficult circumstances. Part of the renewal just came from a principle that Dr. Sanchez taught just standing in the storm. There were just some difficult things that were going on, and just the ability to, instead of laying awake, tossing and turning about it every night, just understanding that this was a time when God was forming me, that there was a time when I would have to stand in that storm, and by standing, it actually strengthened me. And then there was the movement toward, after standing through the storm, just beginning to move toward the fear. You had to really ask yourself, what was it that I feared? And what ultimately came out of this whole experience was understanding what the tendency that I had to just try to please people all the time. That was so underneath a lot of the decisions that I was making, worrying about what other people were thinking, trying not to let anybody down. And so I had a really hard time just saying no to anything. And so because I was so concerned with what people thought of me, I didn't have very good boundaries. And so there was a process that I went through, really trying to, first of all, identify, what do I have to cut off in my life? What do I have to say no to so that I can say a better yes to? And I knew right away through that process, the non-negotiables in my life are going to be making sure that I took care of our marriage, making sure that I was present for my children, making sure that everything that I was doing in my life was ordered around preparing our kids for their future. They needed their dad, and they needed me present. And once I started to clarify what to say yes to and what to say no to, I really felt like there was a process of healing that began. That was such a dynamic exercise for me to really clarify who was going to be most important and then what I was going to do about it. And I now use that similarly in my work, knowing that every day there's a lot of responsibilities on my plate, and being able to start the day with just clarifying who is most important first, what needs to be done within this day, and then what do I need to leave behind for another day so I can be fully present again. It's a process that I'm still working through. It's certainly not something that I master every single day, but I have so much more clarity and so much more peace of mind having gone through this type of exercise to the point where it's become a habit. And I think the third piece of that is also really important, and I'm going to go back to another technique that Dr. Sanchez worked with me on, was really creating a daily mode of operation, so that every day, and I write it down, I invest it in a weekly, monthly calendar, and every day I just write down what's my spiritual goal, what's my family goal, what's my work goal. And I know that if there is something difficult to face, if there's a tough conversation, or if there's something that I may not necessarily want to do, but I know it has to get done, I try to make sure that's a priority in the morning when I'm fresh, when my head is clear, and then I'm able to attack it, do the very best that I can with it, and then move on from that. And so I spent way too many years of my life just sort of, winging it, just counting on my personality or counting on my work ethic or counting on just boundless energy to sort of cover everything. But I realized in a lot of cases, there were balls dropping, and it's something I struggle with every single day. But this is a process that has really helped me to organize and clarify, and it has certainly made me so much more at peace and so much more confident in everything that I'm doing. And to that end, then, I'm hopefully much more present when I'm at home, and hopefully much more present when I've got some downtime for me as well. So why would I recommend this plan to anyone who may be stuck? I would imagine, and I'm a 50-year-old man with two grown boys and a growing daughter, a teenage daughter. And I would say that there are a lot of people out there who are just like me in this season of life, where you are either entering, raising a family, or you're in the middle of it, or you're now starting to see your kids going on and doing great things. And I'm so proud of our kids, and I love them so much. And why I would recommend this program is our number one responsibility as fathers. I'll speak to men first. Our number one responsibility as fathers is to build our legacy with our kids. There's nothing that I'm going to accomplish at work that's more important than the legacy I'm leaving with our kids. And so, first of all, I need to get physically healthy for our kids, so that I can be present for all of their moments in their lives. But then, secondly, just being present to be able to teach and to be available, to sit down and have conversations, to be able to sort of help them launch into their adult lives as well. This is a program that allows you to sort of look inside yourself. And when you're a healthy person, when you are emotionally healthy, when you have spiritual strength, you now have an overflowing cup to give to those who really need you the most. And so for any father out there who is really wanting to find a better balance in life, wanting to develop a stronger, deeper relationship with your kids, this program starts with you examining you and getting inside of who you are. And that's going to help, in my mind, it has helped me become a much better father. And to me, that's everything. I'm just so thankful that in its season of life, as our kids were growing, that I took this step, because it really gave me more tools and skills to be present. And now when I watch our college-age son and our high school-age son both just flourishing and doing things they love to do and hearing what their dreams and goals are, it just brings me great joy knowing that for Joe and Ben and for Kate, that their dad is there for them. And I'm very thankful that I can be fully present. If I were to put a price on the program, I find it difficult maybe to quantify with an actual number, but I'll start with this. We spend as a nation, we spend hundreds of millions of dollars on all kinds of things to help our health, or to self-help or self-improvement. We'll easily spend money to have a gym membership, or maybe we have some vices where we'll drop $6 on a cup of coffee. I guess I would say this, what is the price of your mental, social, and emotional health? And what is the legacy that you want to give to your family if you're not where you want to be? I would compare this to any program that a person could find. It's one-on-one counseling. It is practical skills that you can use and practice and replicate. And there's a relationship that is built through this entire process. And so I think of a P90X program, or I think of something else that you may buy for your physical health. I would put this comparable to any program that you would do for your physical health. This is a program you do for your emotional and spiritual health, for your mental health, and then certainly that plays into your physical health as well. It's a whole process. So I think it's easily as worth as much as, say, 9 weeks with Tony Horton, right? So if a P90X set is selling for $99.99 or $299 or whatever, I'll put this program, or I'll put this against anything that you can do to give yourself mental and emotional strength and mental peace as well. What I would say to someone who is stuck, that there's no one who can help me, well, first of all, I would just say this: depending on how stuck you feel, and I've shared this with other colleagues who have gone through difficult things, I certainly would look back on times in my life as well where this would be applicable, but you never want to make an emotional decision that could be permanent around a temporary issue that has you stuck. So I know a lot of people who have made really poor choices in the midst of deep pain or reliving some kind of trauma, or walking through a really difficult situation, and they feel hopeless. And so maybe they walk away from a relationship, or they walk away from work, or much more dangerous, they think of other harmful things that they can do to themselves. I would say this: there absolutely is help out there, and I would start right here with renewing the mind. It's based in Sergeant Bluff, but now with technology and everything that we have to access and use, this is really at the fingertips of anyone who has the ability to see this podcast or to go online. This is a program that is here for you, and this would be a place that I would turn anyone who is going through anything where they are stuck. There's absolutely help, because it's right here with Dr. Sanchez and with Renewing the Mind. And my interaction with him absolutely changed my life in many ways that have made me better at home and better at work, and just feeling better overall.